I'm Linda Segerstam. I'm the founder of the Intelligent Core and I teach Pilates for golfers. So this video is about exercises that I demonstrated in the article for Surrey Golf Magazine, and I wanted to show you a little bit more of the background on how to do these exercises and why I chose them. So the article is about flexibility for golf, and you're probably surprised to see that I chose these 3 exercises in particular to help with flexibility for your golf game. There are some warm-up exercises, and the golf swing is complex as well, so we are required to use both core and glute muscles to be able to get flexibility out of our joints, and that's one of the reasons why I picked these exercises. So the first one is the deep squat, and the deep squat is different in different bodies because we have different length bones and the muscles work differently, and also the torso can be longer or shorter for different people. So in my body, the deep squat looks like this. I'm pushing my hips back. Let's get this out of the way so you can see. So I'm pushing my hips back and trying to use both my glutes and my quads. I tend to see most people are lazy in the glutes. It's just the way we are. So as I push my hip back, I have a bit of core connection. I can take the arms forward so I can get deeper into the squat. My chest is not down. That would be a lot of weight into the quad. So I'm trying to find the angle for my body to be able to sit into a deep squat. Now sometimes a deep squat is demonstrated as going deeper down, but it depends on your knee. So it would be a depth going into the heels and then lifting back up again. But for this article, I just put in the deep squat as a typical squat position rather than the bending the knee all the way in. So we are holding the position. We're going to hold it for a couple of seconds. So squeeze in the buttocks, push the hips back, lift the chest slightly, arms forward, and see if you can stay. Checking the knees are not gone forward. So knees on top of ankles, and I'm staying for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then pushing the hip forward, so I'm getting that squeeze coming forward. Now a band can be quite useful here if you know that those muscles are quite weak, and it feels like, okay, I need a bit of support there. I've got a couple of different bands. I work with this company and I like these bands. The red one is lighter than the green one, and because I'm using my upper body to push down into my legs, I'm going to pick this band. So I'm placing it on top of the knees, and you can see probably why already. If I'm pushing my knees out, I'm going to have to use my muscles here. So if you have weaker muscles here, it gives you this guidance of, okay, I need to use those buttocks to be able to come into the squat. So if I'm now pushing into the squat, I can feel my legs. Now the other part of this is that if you want to work harder, you have a harder band. So now I can work my leg muscles more in the squat, which means that the muscles work nicely and then giving flexibility elsewhere. So I'm going to hold it again, arms forward, and then stay, maybe go deeper if I can, and then hold for 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1, and then pushing the hip forward. Because I have worked the muscle around here, my hips feel a bit looser. And that's what I meant with the article of why I've chosen these exercises. So that's one way of doing those. So we come to the next exercise, which is the roll down. So the roll down is an exercise in Pilates where we're trying to curve the spine, but we first of all need to find our neutral spine. So I'm now going to think about my breathing. This is where breathing helps. So I'm going to lift in, or I let the rib cage expand slightly with my breath in, lift the chest, and then breathe out. See if I can feel my abdominal muscles squeeze in. And we're trying to get this area. So sipping up, hollowing will be squeezing your stomach muscles in. Not too much, just enough for this exercise. And then I'm pressing with my heels into the ground floor. And I'm going to try to curl the spine and then roll through the back with the support of my core and my legs. So this will be almost straight position of the legs. The head can drop down if it feels good to have a long neck, and then roll back, just using just enough buttocks and just enough core to roll the spine back up again, and then take the arms down by your side and find your start position. So at all times what I'm doing is I'm trying to squeeze in slightly here to feel that I'm supporting from my core, so the back feels okay with the bend. Now, for those of you that find that a bit tricky, the ball comes in. So if I'm pressing the ball between my knees, I'm using my buttocks, right? So suddenly my buttocks can support this. It doesn't mean that we always want to do it this way. This is just to modify it, to make it easier to start with. So I'm pressing the ball, squeezing just enough in buttocks, holding that squeeze as I roll down, soft knees, and as I roll down, most of the weight now is in my buttock and a bit of core. Obviously, you have to turn your core on, that's the whole point. We are lifting up and we're rolling back and then taking the shoulders and arms back down again. Now the easiest position would be a bent knee one. So I'm taking most of the weight in my legs, but I'm still getting a curve, some kind of curve in my back. And then as I lift up, I'm pushing our knees away and I'm coming up to the same position we did before. So it can be a bit tricky. You can start with a half version, down and up, and just see if your back is happy to find length whilst your core is supporting. Okay, that's the point here. And then if we can get that moving, our hips get a little bit freer because we get the timing right with movement in our golf swing, right? So the warm-up for that one, I chose the shoulder bridge. And the shoulder bridge is an exercise where we are using our buttocks. So we are squeezing the buttocks just because I wanted to feel that you have some support from here. It's demonstrated in the previous video. The first warm-up, for the deep squat was a single leg stretch, and that's a very standard exercise in Pilates. It's used in all routines. You line your back, you take the knee in towards you whilst the other leg is going long, and then you switch the legs in different kinds of ways. So definitely an exercise that are useful for hip flexion and also core connection with movement, right? The last one we have is our rotational one. So we're going to go for rotation. I'm going to demonstrate it first because I want to make sure that you get the knees right. So we want to make sure we have neutral hips and spine, right? And then as we step forward into lunge, the knee doesn't fall inwards, that's exaggerated, but sometimes a little knee niggle there because the knee and hip are not lined up. And that means your buttock need to work. So the other hip is open, which means I have to turn on my core, lifting in to be able to maintain that without the back having to do the job. And the back knee is bent and supported by the glutes and hamstrings on the back. Okay, and then make sure you come out of it comfortably, and then we add a band to that. Now, the reason why I'm picking my red band is because I want to separate the knees, which means there's more space between required. So the warm-up for this exercise is the hip roll. And again, the hip roll is a great exercise on its own, but it's also helping us to rotate the spine and the hips separately. So the hip roll is lying on your back with your knees bent, squeezing the knees and feet together, lifting your core slightly, and then rotating the hip and knees with the feet and knees together. Can be done in many different ways, that's just one of them. So, coming back to the rotation. So I'm stepping forward, check my knees are lined up, step back with the other leg, and go down to a lunge that feels good to me. Now, the lower I go, the more effort there is around the legs. And the reason why I put this in for flexibility is if we can use some muscles so they get a little bit tired, we're going to free them because they're giving strength to the joints. So I'm going down to okay, I can handle that, that's it. And then I'm taking my arms in front. I'm then going to add my rotation. So I have my core on, rotating out with the arm, reaching the fingertips away and holding for 3, for 2, for 1, and then taking the arm back. If you want to come out of it, you lift the legs and then sink back into it, supported by core, back leg working, front thigh and leg squeezing into the band, so we get that support there too. The arms go up. Now the next level was the arm going open, breathing in, my legs are working now, and then I'm bending down, and you can decide how low you're going to go with this one. Depends on your hip. And then reaching up, holding it for 3, breathe and out, breath in, breathe out, and then we come back, lift and return. Change leg if you want to join me for the second leg as well. So I'm stepping forward, stepping back, checking my knees, lifting up through my core, taking the arms in front, letting the arm open as you breathe, and reach and hold for 3 and 2 and 1, and return the arm. If you want to go to the bend, we open again, breathing supported by our core, and then we bend down. Now core active, legs active loads, so make sure you're ready for this one. And then reach down and open the chest and breathe. And then we lift back up again. Lots of leg work there. Come back and then lift together. So what I'm hoping here now, after those exercises, that you feel quite free in the hip. Okay, whoop. That you feel quite, okay, the muscles have worked here, and the hips are feeling, yeah, they feel nice and comfortable. So those are my exercises. I'm going to continue enjoying this nice sunny day. Almost is coming to an end. I hope you enjoy the exercises, play some good golf, and keep getting flexible and strong, because it will help you with longevity in golf.